Facebook as well. So good morning everyone. Hello, June Allen here, founder of the Art of Greatness at juneallen.net, and I teach black women who struggle with self-love, sisterhood, and sobriety. So I've been doing a series of live streams this week in honor of the book club. Okay, in honor of the book club that I'm going to be doing. Hi, thanks for joining. In honor of the book club that is being launched this evening. It's being launched this evening online, and I'm really, really excited about it. We've had a few people sign up, which has been great. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new people that have joined the mastermind, as well as some of the OGs that have come back. So I'm feeling really, really, really excited about it. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm a mum, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a student psychotherapist. I have one more year to go and then I'm finished. And I started my own journey back in 2009 off the back of a really dysfunctional relationship, a painful relationship. And I started my own process, went into recovery, learned a lot about myself. But what was missing was the cultural context. So I became obsessed with trying to find out the link between racism, my history from my enslaved ancestors in Jamaica, what happened to them, as a result of, how did it impact their relationships? How did racism and being on the plantations impact how they felt about themselves? And what's actually been passed down through the generations? It is part of my behavior. There might not actually be anything to do with me. So my obsession around wellness and all of that kind of stuff is the exploration of, not just what happened on the plantations, but how does living under the system of racism in the present, how does that impact how I behave in my relationships now? How does it impact my ability to love myself? How does it show up in terms of how I behave in terms of my work and all of that kind of stuff? So there's so much to unpack, but that's basically been my obsession since I started doing this wellness journey. And one of the reasons that I decided to train to become a therapist, because I just thought, you know what, there's so much stuff that I'm discovering and that I've been sharing with people, and it's making so much sense to people when I start sharing about this stuff. So it just made sense. The next logical thing was for me to train as a therapist. And as I've trained and gone through my own healing process, I've been very open in sharing my own process and my own journey around a lot of this, which is why so many of the women all of the women actually choose to come and work with me. Number one, because I'm quite transparent about my own journey, and number two, because I share a cultural context. I share what it means to be a black woman living under the system of racism and trying to get through, trying to do the healing process at the same time. So that's been an amazing process for me to be able to do that and to be able to hold space for other people that are going through a similar process, and to use what I'm learning as well, training as a therapist, to enhance the process, to really enhance the experience for black women. So I feel really, really good about that. I feel really proud that I've been able to, to impact and support so many women, so many black women that I've been looking for solutions around their healing process. And for a lot of them, well, for all of them actually, that's been the missing link, is having the cultural context to it. So one of the reasons that I wanted to jump on today is I wanted to do some Q&A, some questions and stuff, and really talk about what to expect and stuff like that in the mastermind and also for the book club tonight. So if you've been on the fence about the book club and you're not really sure, today is the day when I'm going to be sharing lots of information about what it's about, what you can expect, how the structure of it works and all the rest of it. So if you've got any other questions in addition to what I'm going to be sharing today, then in this session, then obviously drop them in the comments, or if you don't feel comfortable to share them in the comments, you can send me a direct message and I will get back to you from there. Okay, so that's a little bit about my journey. If you as well, if you don't know anything about what I do and anything about my work, my history, and all of that kind of stuff. So today we're going to dive in. So we're going to dive into the Q&A now. So first and foremost, what is the goal? Okay, what is the goal of the Sacred Sister Sanctuary Book Club? So just as I was saying earlier, the goal is to learn from other Black women writers. Number one. We also, it's an opportunity to also explore your personal experience and to build sisterhood as well. There's so many, one of the first questions that I get, or one of the common questions that I always get from black women when it comes to us getting together to do this stuff is, oh, I don't really trust other black women. I don't really trust other black women, and I don't know if it's going to work for me. I've had this conversation so many times. I did do a live stream on it as well, so if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find it. Um, but this is the reason why I work so tenderly with the group, and why there are specific boundaries that I have, because I understand it, I get it. And actually, the reason why so many black women don't trust other black women is the whole point of this book. Okay, it's the whole point of this book. You know, it's quite often rooted in mother wound stuff. So you know, the reason, the way that a lot of the women get over that anxiety, is to, number one, I allow them to have that conversation. There's space in the mastermind to have that conversation, and quite often even just saying it is a relief, because then just knowing that they're not the only one, is a relief for them. So having that conversation about, you know, the importance of it, and having that conversation is really, really key. So yeah, so building that's the goal, the ultimate goal of it. So we learn from black women writers. We explore our own personal experience and the impact that the topics that come up in the text, how that impacts your lives. Um, it's not just you know, normally when you go to book clubs, hi, thanks for joining. Normally when you go to book clubs, you know, you're required to, you know, they show up, you know, they might you know, they discuss the text and go home, and that's it. That's not how I run my book clubs. My book clubs are an opportunity to not just read the text and celebrate our black women writers, but also to really do the inner work around, okay, well, what are the topics that have come up in this particular text, okay? And this is what's different about what I do, because we read the text live. You're not required to read the text before you come to the session. We read the text live. There's something quite magical and really quite poignant that happens when you read the text live. And also, if you don't have the book as well, you can still attend, because there's already a few people already that already have the book. I have the book as well, obviously. And so, you know, just listening to somebody else read as well, can be quite an intimate thing. It can be a really lovely thing to have somebody else read to you. So we read the text live, and then you know, it just gives us an opportunity to be able to share directly on it, and really get present on what comes up for you as a result of reading the text live. Okay, so that's really, really quite powerful. The other thing that you know, that's different about how I do my book clubs as well, is the sharing space. There's clear boundaries around speaking, because after we read the chapter, like we read one chapter a week as well, so we don't just kind of steam through the book. It's about giving us permission to pause and to really think about, okay, well, what's coming up for you around the chapter. What you know, how are you feeling about it, and really give it in, how does it impact your life, and all of that kind of stuff. So I pull the topics out of each chapter, and that then gets translated into resources. I create, there's like a PDF that you get as well, that's in the library, in the book club section of the library, where you get an opportunity to do, if you want to, it's not compulsory, but this is just will help you to kind of marinate on the chapter. There's bits that I pull out, journal prompts, maybe certain quotes and stuff that I've seen in there, gets pulled out and put into the PDF. So then you have an opportunity to either speak on it in the actual session itself, or you can go home and you know, and do it as a journal in your journal prompts and whatnot. So yeah, it's a really good opportunity to be able to do that, and that I'm finding is so powerful. And obviously, in support of all of that, to support the main session that we have, which will be tonight, you know, in the week and stuff like that, you might find yourself feeling a bit vulnerable. There might be topics that come up that feel difficult, that are challenging. You might have some difficult feelings. All of the stuff that's in the library, not just the journal prompts and stuff and the resources that I create after the session. There's a huge library of 100 plus masterclasses, journal prompts, videos, stuff that's not available to the public. You get access to all of that. So if there is stuff that's come up, there's a specific category as well in the library. Hi Lorraine, thanks for joining. There's also a specific category in the library around the mother and father wound, so you can go in there and find lots and lots of different things, which is really lovely. Which is again, it's very supportive for you to have that in between the live sessions. Also, the way that I do the affirmations, and there's a meditation as well that we'll do at the beginning of the session, just to help to ground you, help you to get present in your body, help you to get present in the space, and to really use it as a nurturing space for you to use that and get present, so you can really get the best out of the session and become present to what's going on in the actual session itself. At the end as well, there's some lovely affirmations that I've created, called Bill of Rights affirmations for wounded daughters, and that's when something that we're going to be chanting at the end of the session. And I'm really excited about hearing all the ladies in the group just sharing, speaking out these affirmations all together as a group, as a sisterhood, as a movement. This is what it's about. It's about a movement. So I'm really, really excited about that. And so it's the cultural flavour of everything as Black women is all going to be incorporated in the session. So I'm really, really excited about sharing that with the group as well. So that's some of the reasons why why the group is very different. Hi Marie, thanks for joining. Yeah, so the next question is, okay, so how much is it? Okay, so it's £67 a month, and it's obviously part of a wider membership. So you don't just get the book club, like I was saying before. You get access to the library. At the moment, I'm running some power hours as well. So if you need time to hang out with me, sometimes I'm there early in the morning, so you can use it to kind of set up your day. Sometimes people will use the power hours to do decluttering. I tend to use them to work through stuff. I can do finances in there. I can do meditate. You can use the power hours for whatever you want, but there were so many different ways to use it. So that's already part of the membership. Oh, Alana is saying I'm being uplifted already. Oh, I'm really glad. I'm really happy that you are. Once you actually get in there, it's just going to be something different. So if you are interested in joining, actually, click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. All of the information about how to join the book club, all the rest of it. I wish I'm going to be talking about it today. But all of the links and everything for you to join and where you can buy the book and all the rest of it is all in the link, okay, in the bio. So yeah, so it's £67 a month, and that's part of the wider membership. Okay, so it's not just the book club that you'll be getting. There'll be also classes and all the rest of it that'll be coming up. There's loads of things that I'm planning to do going forward. So yeah, you'll be part of a membership. You're not just paying for the book club itself. Okay, so where is it held? Obviously, it's held on Zoom. Okay, so you'll have the opportunity to, you'll see your screen, and obviously you'll see all the other ladies and everything. There'll be screen sharing with, when we're reading and doing bits and pieces. There'll be screen sharing. Obviously, you need to have a copy of the book. If you don't have a copy of the book, don't worry too much about it for now, because I know that there already are people that already have the book. All right. But just make sure you order it and all the rest of it. Okay. So the next question is, I'm a technophobe. Will I get help? Okay. So in order to prepare for the session, you'd need to obviously check that your microphone is working on your laptop or on your phone, whichever you choose device you use to join the session on. And I'll be available kind of 10 minutes before the session in order to figure out any technical difficulties. Or you can email me before if you're having trouble or whatever, and I'll do my best to try and help you. But it really is as simple as, I send out a reminder email an hour before the session. Hi Angie, thanks for joining. I send a reminder email out an hour before the session, and then the link to actually join the class, the live class is in there. So you just literally click on it and that's it. So it's very, very simple. I try to not make it complicated at all, make it really, really easy. So yeah, an hour before the session you'll get a link in an email saying, click here to join the live class, and that's it. All right, so that's where it's held. And if you've got any technophobe issues, next question: where can I buy the book? Okay, so I basically got mine from the dreaded Amazon, but I looked on there yesterday and I saw some foolishness that they were charging £180 to buy the book, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? So I would strongly encourage you to Google it and look for other bookstores that are going to sell in it. There's a book called there's a website called, I think it's Abe Books, ABE, Abe Books, and they sometimes sell secondhand. I've got a secondhand copy. I think mine's not new or nothing. I've got a secondhand copy. So yeah, so just Google it and look for other places. If you go on Amazon and you find it still at that ridiculous price, I don't know why that happens. So it's just not, it's insane. But anyway, so shop around, okay? Shop around to look to get the book. So next question, I haven't got the book yet. Can I still join? Yes, you can join if you haven't got the book. Oh, somebody else. Oh, okay. Angie's saying try book dispensary. Oh, sorry, book depository. Okay, great. Thanks for that, Angie. That's great. So look for the book depository as well if you can't find anything on a decent price on Amazon or wherever it is. Any good, any if anybody's got any good black-owned bookstores as well, drop them in the comments as well. Yeah, so obviously we want to support our community and stuff like that as well. So if you know any really good black bookstores that may have it, then just drop them in the comments as well. So what's the next question? Oh, I haven't got the book. Can I still join? Yes, you can. So obviously there's going to be a lot of other people in the sessions that already have the book, and we will use, you know, obviously the sharing and all the rest of it. People reading the book. Sorry, we will take turns to kind of read the book. So you know, if you haven't got the book today, no problem. Just kind of get a copy of it when you can. Okay, and that's it. So just you can still join if you haven't got a copy of the book. You just won't obviously be able to read live in the session, but not a problem. Okay, next question. What happens if I miss a chapter? If you miss a chapter, okay, you're not able to join the live session, then there are, again, as I said, there were resources that I'm creating for each chapter. So there'll be things like journal prompts that I'll create. I might make reference to some videos that are in the library, some resources that are in the library that might help regarding any topics. Because sometimes what happens is people will share and stuff, people will share after the session, after the reading, sorry. And so what I do is I make a note of the topics that come up that people are sharing about. And so, you know, there's a PDF that goes each week. There'll be a PDF to accompany each chapter, so you can look on there and see, you know, if there's suggestions that I've made for additional resources to help you with anything that comes up in the session. All right, so that's what you can do. There's no replay because obviously I need to confidentiality and trust is 100% has to be the priority. Okay, 100% has to be the priority. So for that reason, I don't record the sessions, and because people need to feel safe to be able to share that their business is not going to be, you know, going to be shared out all over the place for people. So I don't record the sessions, as I said. So if you miss a session or whatever, then you have the resources and you have the PDF for each chapter, but there will not be a replay because obviously confidentiality has to be at the forefront. Okay. So let's see, how often are the sessions? Okay, the sessions are weekly. Okay, so they'll be weekly, but what I need to say is the last week of the month is like a self-reflection week. It's a self-directed week. So what I mean by that is, you know, what normally happens is there's a lot of stuff that comes up when we normally read the books, and obviously the book is quite an it's a lot to this. You'll understand what I mean when you join the session. But quite often a lot of stuff comes up. Sometimes people will get emotional. Sometimes people will get, you know, will feel teary. There'll be, and just from the process, and it's not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. This is an important part of the process. You know, once we've had a few sessions, people will start to feel more comfortable. They'll start to feel safe, and when they start to feel safe, people will start to share more honestly. There'll be some seasoned ladies in the book club tonight who have been you know, rocking with me and doing this work for a while, and so they kind of understand what I mean. If you're new, it will take you a little bit of time to kind of get used to the process and to kind of trust the other ladies in the group, and I totally get that, and it's important that, you know, ladies have that space to be able to take their time to get to know people. But once people feel comfortable, you know, it's natural that they're going to start to feel, you know, they feel safe enough to be a bit more vulnerable. So there may be some tears. People might express, you know, they're upset about certain things because they feel safe, and that's all good. This is all part of the process. So the reason why I take the last week of the month, the last week of each month, we don't have a class because I think that's an important time to breathe. That's an important time for you to take some time just to reflect on what's happened. If you need to catch up on any of the resources or the readings, or any, if you're looking at stuff in the library or whatever, it's an important time for you to pause. An important part of the healing process is not just to keep going. That's not good for you either. So having a place to pause, okay, is really important. So the last week of the month, there is no class. So it's weekly apart from the last week of the month. All right. So let's have a look. So what support is there in between sessions? Obviously, you know, as I've said before, there's the resource library. There's courses. There's lots of live streams that are not available to the public. There's book suggestions, there's hacks, there's worksheets, there's vision. There's so many different things in the in the library, and I'm adding stuff to it all the time. Adding stuff to it all the time. So in between the sessions, or if the last week of the month, you can use the library to kind of catch up and to find additional support and resources on anything that you've got coming up. Also, if there's some really difficult things that have come up in the sessions, there's also I also do one-to-one sessions as well. I do soul sessions, one-to-one soul sessions with people, private sessions. So sometimes people would, you can do it ad hoc. If something comes up and you just need to share on it a bit deeper, you can book an ad hoc session with me. Some of the ladies that I work with decided they want to work with me, weekly, because they really want to dive in and process some deep stuff. And so that's an option as well. So you might find that you're going to start off in the group working with me that way, and then you might decide later on that you want to do some private work, and that's all fine too. So the support is there for you. So whatever comes up in the book club, don't feel like you have to sit with it, or that you can't take it anywhere else, because sometimes as well there might be stuff in the group that you don't want to share in the group. You don't feel comfortable to share in the group, but you want to share it, but just not, you don't feel comfortable to do it in a group. So that's why excuse me, offering the one-to-one sessions is really important, because then you get the opportunity to unpack it in a much more of a private space. Okay, so that's the support in between the sessions. Okay, so the next question: what results can I expect? So, like I was saying before, if you're new to doing this work, it might be that you feel you're going to feel vulnerable. You might feel vulnerable after the sessions, because you're going to be talking about stuff maybe that you haven't spoken about for a long time. It might be the first time that you're revealing a lot of this stuff. For a lot of people, they've been so conditioned to not have those conversations about the mother wound, that it might bring up a lot of stuff. It might bring up a lot of anger. It might bring up a lot of sadness. So the results are not going to happen overnight. The book club is not a magic wand that I can wave over you and that everything's going to be okay. That's not how this healing process works. It's going to take time, which is why, like I said, we do one chapter a week, and we take our time and work through it in a really, really gentle way. Okay, and why we have the gap as well at the end of the month, so that you can work through it in a really, really gentle way. So the results that you can expect is, you get some relief. You'll definitely get relief. I hear that a lot from the women. Just having, once they start to feel comfortable in the space, they start to feel a lot of relief, and feel empowered, actually feel empowered about the idea, about the fact that they've not had a space to be able to share their truth, and then finding a space, that where I can hold the space for people to be able to share their truth, is really, gives people a lot of relief. So yeah, again, the results that you can expect are also based on how safe you feel, how willing you are to do the work, how vulnerable, you feel safe enough to get vulnerable to do this work, and your willingness. You just have to be willing. You just have to be willing to do the work, because it's not easy work. It's hard work. I'm not here to tell you, oh yeah, it's gonna be all fantastic and you're gonna feel great after you've read the, it doesn't work like that. It takes time, and I'm not here to give you the kind of fluffy fantasy motivational, oh yeah, you're gonna be feel fantastic. No, it's hard work. It's hard work. But once you start to really understand yourself, and you really start to give yourself permission to feel and talk about the things that you've been holding in, you will feel a sense of relief. You will start to feel a lot more better about yourself. You will start to feel more connected, particularly with the other women in the group. You'll start, there'll be, it become like a really intimate space for you to start to share honestly. And obviously we have a famous Facebook group. There's also a private WhatsApp group as well. And I know that a lot of the ladies, they share in there as well. So, with the class tonight, obviously we have limited time. It's a 90-minute class. And so, everybody may not get the opportunity to share openly, and they don't have to share. The sharing is not compulsory. After we read the text, there's a sister sharing space. You may decide that you just want to listen, and listening can be just as powerful as sharing. You might not feel like you want to share, and that's okay. But if you don't get the opportunity to share in the session, You know, you might want to reach out to somebody in the WhatsApp group, or share what's going on for you in the WhatsApp group, which a lot of the ladies do that as well, which is really good, and there's very supportive in there as well with each other. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of support there. So you know, don't you know the results that you get are going to take time, but you've just got to be willing to be patient. You've got to be compassionate, and you've just got to be willing to be open to do the work, and kind of let go of what the outcome, or trying to do a quick fix, because I'm not about quick fixes. I'm not about quick fixes. That's just not how it works. But yeah, if you're willing to put in the work, you know, I mean, I'm living proof of that. You know, I'm living proof of that. I've been doing this work for a long time, and I've been working with ladies for quite a while now, and I've just seen it happen, and it's just the most beautiful thing. It's just the most beautiful thing, and I feel so humbled. I feel so humbled to be able to, not just to be able to hold space for them, but to be able to witness the growth and the vulnerability and the beauty that comes with when you start to feel comfortable in a sisterhood with other women that feel safe, and people just start to learn and start to understand themselves and just start to feel a sense of relief. It's just really quite beautiful. So if you like what you're hearing, and you'd like to join the book club, click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So the last question is how to get the best results out of the book club. And yeah, it's just, but what I was saying before, actually, about just being willing, trusting the process, and just be open. If you've never done it, if you've never done anything like this before, you've never worked with you've never worked with a black therapist before, you've never worked in a group or anything like that, I'd highly encourage you just to try it. If you decide it's not for you, you can cancel your membership at any time. And yeah, but it's very, I can honestly say, hand on heart, the women that I've worked with, I've not had any of the women that do this work that cancel after a month or whatever. They come, they're intrigued, they stay open, they start getting vulnerable, they start building trust, they start asking more questions, and they start to build more self-esteem, they start building their confidence, and they stay because the community becomes very supportive. They become very that they begin to love being able to attend a space that is boundaried, that is very loving, that's very compassionate. And the ladies will tell you, I love what I do. I love holding the space for women, and I'm very passionate about making sure that everybody's heard, and that everybody feels seen and heard in the space. So yeah, so I really understand. I really understand how important it is to feel safe and to feel heard and to feel respected individually and as a group. So yeah, if that kind of appeals to you, then I look forward to seeing you later. So those are the questions I've gone through. I hope I haven't missed anything. If there's anything that I have missed, then please send me a direct message or drop a comment below, and I'm happy to answer it. Okay, so that's it. So if you are, if you like what you've heard today, if you've not seen the other videos that I've done, the live streams I did the last 2 days, all about the 10 ways that wounded daughters, struggle to learn from their mothers. I've had a lot of great feedback about those live streams, and people have been quite moved by them. So if you haven't watched them already, go back and watch those live streams, because you'll learn a lot about some of the struggles that we have as wounded daughters, and why it's important to really do this work. So if you're interested, and you're moved, you've watched the live streams, and you've been on the fence, and now I've answered all your questions, and you would like to join us for the book club, where we are going to be going through what Mama couldn't tell us about love, then click the link in the bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hopefully I will see you tonight. If not, I will see you next time. Take care, ladies. Bye.